So, last year I hit like 60K in profit by helping my couples start their visual legacy for their family.
Welcome back, friends, for another episode of Success with Design with Fundy, hosted by me, yours truly, Michael T. Davis, and we have a special guest. Oh my God, I already love her personality, love her attitude, and all of her energy. It is Angie Nelson Photography, who goes by Angie, and she is amazing, like just an amazing photographer based out of Maui and travels worldwide. Epic portraiture, focuses on bold and vibrant movements, and dare I say, she is an expert at capturing the personality and chemistry of nature. Like, it is absolutely amazing, and I'm glad that we get to sit here and talk with her and everything. And so, Angie, thank you for coming to the show. Feel free to tell the guest about yourself.
So you froze. I missed your question.
Oh, so I say go. So go. Hold on. All right. So go ahead and tell the guest about yourself.
Okay, thank you. I feel like this is part of how it works with us today. Is we're having technology issues. Yeah. So I am a wedding photographer working and living in Maui, Hawaii. I have 2 other businesses as well. I have a proposal business where we photograph and plan proposals, like will you marry me proposals. We do about 200 a year. Obviously, I have my wedding business, and I also have business as an adventure, which is helping other photographers run profitable businesses and get their time back. So I have a lot going on in my day-to-day life. I'm also a mother to 2 little girls. And, just trying to keep my head screwed on straight half the time. But here I am.
So why don't we start with this? I love first of all of your businesses. And I was like, the whole proposal thing, like, that's fun. Yeah. I know you were getting to education. So let's start with how did you fall in love with this craft to get to where you are now?
I've always felt a magnetic pull to photography, ever since. I mean, everyone has like the same origin story, right? Like, oh, I got a camera when I was a kid and I took these photos and I loved it. But I never thought I'd make a career out of something like this. I went to school to be a high school language arts teacher, which I did for 4 years out here. But figured out very quickly that you can't live a life where you're not working constantly and having a good, how do I say this nice? It's hard to live in Hawaii on a teacher's salary. So I got a full frame DSLR. I was advertising on Craigslist, $150 for my first shoot. And I was panicking because I'm like, it's so much money. But I was hooked after that.
$150 is a lot of money for someone who's like has no money. So like, own it.
Yeah. It was a big deal. It was a really big deal. But yeah, so I started, getting better at my craft and learning how to run a business. I started using a CRM like right out of the gate when I opened up my business. And I was doing that like after school hours. I would teach all day and then I'd go do a sunset session on the beach, rinse and repeat. Until one day in 2013, I sat down and I ran my numbers after like an 8-hour PD where we had to like divide students into subgroups and make goals for each sub. It was so much busy work. And I was like, okay, how many shoots do I need to do a week to make more? Just barely. More than I was making as a teacher. And at the time, as low as my prices were, the answer was 2. So that was really easy math.
Wait, how did we get to 2? Like, I thought you were going to say like 10.
No, right? No, because teacher salary just isn't that great. And, yeah, so I was like, at that time, I was like, if I shoot year round, no breaks, 2 portrait sessions a week, portraits, not even weddings, portrait sessions a week, I will make more money than I would make teaching. And that's like, that's a sad reality.
You said 2 a week.
2 a week.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Okay, because I thought
Like 10 a
so when you
week.
said two, I was like only 2 sessions a month. I was like,
Oh,
look
no,
at
no, no, no,
you
no.
going out of
No.
the gate strong.
No, no, no. No, it was definitely a grind for the first few years. But I took 1 year and I was like, I'm just gonna give it a go and see how it all works out. Ended up tripling my income in the first year.
Awesome.
And then I was like, well, I'm not coming back. As much as I really loved teaching. I loved my students. I came home with the best stories. I had the best stories being a teacher. Now I come home, my husband's like, how was the wedding? And I'm like, it was lovely. They were lovely. It was amazing. And he's like, your stories aren't good anymore.
I feel like that's me. My wife is like, did you have a good wedding? I'm just like, yeah, it was another wedding.
They were lovely. Yeah, it was great. Well, meanwhile, when I was teaching, it was like, oh yeah, well, I had one kid like freak out in the middle of class and run in outside and jump into a tree and start doing pull-ups. And I had to call security to get him out of the tree.
Yeah, yeah.
Those were
You
good
know what?
stories.
I'm curious. Because you said you taught language arts, right?
Yes.
How do you see any connection between your background in teaching language arts and working with school age kids to being able to communicate effectively and bring out the stories and emotions inside of your couples?
Oh, that's a great question. I think it's twofold on this. First is I'm a really good communicator. And like I've always been a good communicator in education, especially working with teenagers. You have to be a good communicator because they're only listening a quarter of the time. But I was always really good about setting expectations with my students, and I carry that right over into my photography business. I mean, my workflows are my clients are hearing from me every week about like obviously automations, right? Like I'm not sitting there writing them every week.
Yeah, for sure.
But it sets the stage for things like print sales or, hey, should I have a first look? Or if you're doing a rehearsal dinner, here's like my favorite places on Maui to do that. Mm-hmm. So it helps set expectations and adds to the client experience. When it comes to like, teaching literature and capturing stories and that sort of stuff, I've always been drawn to story. I always had a big imagination as a kid, which I think is one reason that photography as a medium resonated with me because it was limitless potential. And then I moved to a place that looks like Neverland, and I'm like, okay. which is also one thing that I have a hard time with here because I feel like in general in Hawaii, there's a lot of mediocrity when it comes to our craft. And that's because it's really easy to put somebody on a beach and take a picture, and then people are like, oh my God, it's amazing. Well,
Yeah.
they're just on the beach.
Exotic place, right?
Yeah, that just shows me too that I need to keep my imagination alive and thriving in order to create work that is still resonating with people and is making me stand out from the crowd.
Yeah. And I love how you said limitless imagination. Like I feel like it needs to be a tagline somewhere if it's not already. Limitless.
New band name, I called it.
That's perfect. So you talk to us about, being a school age teacher, being frustrated with your salary, starting the grind in, doing portrait work, 2 portraits a week for like a year, which is, I'm like, oh my God, that's a lot of work, so, and just that grind to where you are now, tripling your sales, after the first year. So all of this determination, right? All of this, like, we're going to make this work. How does that transition over? And you start talking about systems, but how does that transition over into, you know what? I cannot do this alone. Like, I need some type of support, whether it be people or whether it be instruments, to help me get through this. Because I feel like people listening, like, oh my God, like, that's so overwhelming. How is she doing all of this? Like, unveil the fold. Like, what's your secret?
There isn't a secret. I like the I like the illustration of the iceberg in the water, where people only see the little tip and they're not seeing everything that came before it. They're not seeing all the things that I've messed up or the workflows that I've botched or things that I've tried that just didn't work. There's been a lot of that. I'm constantly tweaking my processes, especially when it comes to sales processes. I think like think psychology of sales is so interesting. It's so interesting. And me even looking at the way that I buy versus like how my clients are buying and how they're viewing print product and that sort of thing. But when it comes to like when I needed help, as I said, like I was an early adopter for a CRM, which I think is really rare in our industry. I think a lot of people jump on the CRM train when they start to get like really over, like out of desperation. For me, it was just like, oh, if I'm going to have a business, I need to have a way to keep it all in one place. Otherwise, I will forget. I was the Post-it queen before like, smartphones. Like that was Post-its everywhere about all the things, because if it stays in my brain, it'll fly away. But if I put it somewhere, it's there for me. So, early adopter with a CRM, that's the hardest worker in my business. Is my CRM, sends out email automations, all that good stuff. I use Studio Ninja for my wedding business, and I've loved that. I've been with them since I think 2018, and I've tried like all of them, all of the CRMs. Gotcha. Yeah. And and then using like Fundy Designer, that was a game changer for me when it comes to quickly and easily designing albums or wall art pieces, which like is behind me as I'm talking to you right now. Like this is a collection that I sell often. Having those things in my business save me time. And at the end of the day, like I love what I do. I love getting new clients and photographing weddings and providing a killer client experience, right? But at the end of the day, what like my real true goal is to make the money to support my family and get my time back. I don't want to be in the office constantly. I live in frickin' Maui. Like, I want to go out and like hike or go stand up paddleboarding with my friends. Like it was just whale season. I don't want to be so busy that I can't do these things that I love. And so having software that is going to streamline my business, make things easier for me, it's like it's a no-brainer. Yeah. It's the best investment you'll make in your business.
When did that shift click for you? That you were like, you know what? Like you say early adopter CRM, yes, that makes sense, But not everyone jumps right into sales. And I'm assuming there was a process that you got to where, you know what, I'm working a whole lot. I want my life back. I want to make more money. When did that happen in your career that you decided to jump onto Fundy?
That happened for me in 2019. That happened for me. And that happened was it 2019 or was it 2018? Whatever. It was pre-pandemic, because I feel like everything's now is like pre-pandemic, post-pandemic. It was pre-pandemic because, out here we have a very different market than on the mainland. On the mainland, in most places, like you guys have a wedding season, right? That's not a thing here.
Yeah, every season's wedding season.
Every season's wedding season, which is great. I can, I go to Michigan for a month every summer, and that's where I grew up. I get to show my daughters a Michigan summer, which is like the best time to be in the Midwest. Sorry, every other month of the year. But, what I was finding is that I was taking on more and more and more weddings, and it was just turn and burn, right? So I go, I photograph the wedding, I give them these amazing images, and then, bye, I really hope you print something. And then people don't, because they're busy. So especially like when, we were thinking about expanding our family, I had my first daughter in 2017, and then we expanded our family during the pandemic, because what else are you going to do during the pandemic? Then I was really like, okay, the level of client experience that I give each couple, I know blows my competition out of the water. I know it does. I put a lot of time and love and energy into my couples. They're not getting the best version of me if I'm just running from couple to couple to couple. They're not. I want to give them a end-to-end experience. And so that includes getting art on their walls and putting an album in their hands. And so then how do I do that? So my very first step was including a base album in their package, making it part of my messaging, making it part of my branding. It's on my website. It's on my Instagram. I print photos from my home. I make photo albums. I'm like the photo queen of all my friends and my family. I live and breathe what it is that I am saying. I truly believe in the power of print. So communicating those values, creating a visual legacy for my couples, helping them do this because they don't know how to do this, right? That would be like, someone saying to you like, yes, you need to change your oil every year. You need to change it.
Yeah.
Do you change your own oil? I mean, maybe you do. I don't change my own oil
I don't.
because it's going to take me a long time to figure out. I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
And I get overwhelmed. Could I do it? Yeah. I mean, I would have to have somebody hand hold me the first few times, and then I could probably do it. It's the same sort of thing when it comes to printing images and making an album. They have no idea what they're doing. They know they want it. They know they need it. They don't know how to do it. So I'm going to do it for them. I'm the expert. They trust me. They trusted me with their wedding. They love their images. They're going to trust me to make this first family heirloom for them.
Yeah. I love it. Listen, you're speaking like my language right now. So like I'm all on the client experience ship. And when you talked about when we started talking about psychology of sales, and you said, you pay attention to your own buying process, right?
Yes.
That self like acknowledgement and analysis is so important because like you and I are just consumers like everyone else.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And so when and this is what I teach to my students. I say, when you unpack the way that people sell to you, you realize like that there's a whole system to this.
Oh my God.
Like there's a whole rinse and repeat.
Can we talk about Instagram for 3 seconds? Because those targeted ads get me all the time. I know my phone is listening to me. Half the time I care, the other half the time I don't care because I'm getting targeted ads where I'm like, oh yeah, like there's my pain point right there. They're hitting it right there. And then I'm like, I know they're going to show it to me 7 more times because I watched it longer than I probably should have.
Yep.
And then I'm going to end up buying it and I'm probably going to be happy with the product. I don't use a fear-based sales tactic though. I think that there's a lot of like FOMO sales tactics that are used in the industry. I don't use that at all. I approach all of my sales as I am a helper. So all of my collections come with a base album that has 20 pages in it.
Okay.
I tell them ahead of time, most of my couples invest around, it's like $1,500 to $3,500 in their album alone. There's never any pressure to do so. I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
And so I design their album really large. I let them pare it down. And if they get to the end and they're like, oh, like we were really hoping to stick around 50 pages. I help them. I'm like, okay, well, let's take, okay, do we need 2 pages for cocktail hour? Let's see if we can get them into one spread. I can only do 3 photos per page and that's it. But let's see if we can condense this for you. So I'm really there helping them. I'm on their team. Every once in a while I'll get people who don't upgrade. And that's okay. You got to be okay with that part of the process.
Yeah.
You got to be okay with it. But like last year I shot 27 weddings. Too many.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Well, remember, this is not just full day weddings. There's also
of course.
3-hour elopements, right?
Yeah.
Although I'm finding that my 3-hour elopements, they are still spending the same amount as an 8-hour wedding. Like I keep track of all the numbers and everything. So, last year I hit like $60K in profit by helping my couples start their visual legacy for their family. I am a helper. I'm not a salesperson. And I think that if somebody is listening to this and they're really wanting to get into selling albums and wall art to their couples, don't look at yourself as a salesperson. I think that's really overwhelming for people. I think women especially really struggle with this because they don't want to be pushy or salesy. I only hear this from women, not so much from men. You're not a salesperson. Yeah. What you're doing is you're saying, this is what I offer. I am here to help you wherever it is that you are. And then offering them collections that fit every budget and incentivize them to move up. So by offering a percentage off, by offering a larger size, whatever it might be. And then they make the decision, not you. And I know I'm like monologuing right now, but
you're good. This is stuff people need to hear.
Okay, good. One of the biggest lessons that I learned was, it was like 2 years ago, a year ago. I had a couple that they're coming from the mainland. When they did their initial client, like I have to meet them over Zoom before I'll say like before I'll say yes to accepting them as a client, because I just want to make sure that we're a good fit. They like my energy. Like I'm going to be spending a lot of time with them, and vice versa, right? Like they got to like me. If you don't like me, please don't hire me. So they did their Zoom call on their phone in front of their home, which happened to be in a trailer park.
Okay.
I made a lot of assumptions about their values and their budget and all of these things. So when I jumped on my album design appointment with them, I had already designed the album smaller than I may have for another couple, because I made assumptions. I shouldn't have made assumptions. They bought the album as was and then added 2 pieces of wall art because it was important to them. Shame on me. It is not any of our business to be in our clients' wallets. That is not a place that we belong. I think about that scene from Pretty Woman where she walks into the store and these women look her up and down and say, "Oh, you can't afford to shop here. Get out." And then she comes back. She's like, "Big mistake." Yeah, it was a big lesson for me. And they got their album. They were so excited. They sent me like pictures of them looking through it. God bless them. You know, like they really valued this stuff. And from there on out, I'm like, I am never going to make assumptions on what my clients can and cannot afford. It's none of my business.
I love it. I feel like that's Bible. Like, just stay out of your clients' wallets.
Yes.
They will surprise you every time. Stay out of your wallets.
Well, and then sometimes you'll have like a big bougie wedding. I had a big bougie wedding with this one. They spent a bucket. And I thought like, oh, well, they'll obviously spend a bucket on their album, right? Nope. They just wanted the 20 pages and be out because it wasn't a priority for them. Even though they got all my emails and all of the things to prep them, I meet with them, they get to touch them and feel them and look through them. It just wasn't a priority. And I was okay with it. Surprised, but I was okay with it. You got to be on their team no matter what it is that they choose. It's not on us, right? To look into their wallet and make decisions.
I love it. And so thank you. First of all, thank you for sharing that story, that, how software like this, like Fundy Designer, increases your sales and things of that sort. And I know you've already heard that, Fundy has a new product out, the social design app. Have you played around with it? What do you think about it? How has that already impacted your business?
So I think that with like Instagram, I know like I got to get on the TikTok train, but guys, like I'm getting close to 40. I don't know. And I'm not dancing. Nobody wants to see this dancing. Okay. But let's talk about Instagram for a hot second. So Instagram, I feel like is, it's a great place to showcase your portfolio. You go to somebody's page and you can scroll through and you can see, like, you can get a very quick overview of this style, whether or not it resonates with you. That's one thing I love about Instagram. It is a scrolling portfolio. Another thing about Instagram, though, I think with the advent of TikTok, people's attention spans are like, they're so tiny now. You have to get their attention so fast. And I think that through this new design app that Fundy has, you're able to change how it is that potential clients are seeing your work. It's a more dynamic way of looking at a portfolio. And like, it's all drag and drop. I mean, I think drag and drop is my love language. Like the Fundy Designer, like for albums and stuff, it is all drag and drop. I do live designs with my couples to make it exactly what they want. It is so quick and easy and amazing. I use the auto design feature and I can design an album in like 20 minutes. Yeah. Depending on like, Oh, it's incredible. I love it. But yeah, so I love that now we're crossing this bridge over into social media because so many people struggle with this. And having a drag and drop option where you're just like, here's some templates, put some photos in. Hey, you want some text? Here you go. It's taking a lot of the guesswork out for, I don't know, what am I, a Zennial? No, I don't know. I'm that like gap generation between like Gen X and Millennial. Like I'm in that in that area, and I think there's a lot of people who are in my boat, and they get very overwhelmed with this stuff. So it makes it super, super easy. I'm very appreciative of building that bridge.
I love it. And so you've just dropped a whole lot of gems. Like I feel like you just gave like a 15-minute masterclass on sales psychology, CRMs, working smarter, not harder, being present for your household and your family. So I have two questions, and then we're going to get into the rapid fire, right? So the next question is, who has been your greatest influence or mentor in the industry, and have you how have they shaped the type of creative and business just badass that you are?
Oh my gosh. I can't point to one person in particular because sometimes I feel like it's like Pokemon, right? You gotta catch them all. You take little bits and pieces and nuggets from everybody, and then you kind of see how that fits into your creative process and your business, and then you go with it. But some people that I will name drop are Erica and Landy Mann from Two Man Studios. I took their workshop in the beginning of 2018 because I was bored. I was just like, I don't know how people can be bored on the beach, but here I am, like none of the work I make lights any fire in me. What's wrong? And so they taught me how to see light and see it differently. And that, I just took that and ran with it. So I'm eternally grateful for that opportunity to learn from them in person. Because now they have Two Man U, which is also incredible. Yeah. But you know, I got to be with them like hands on. Let's see, other people in the industry. I mean, when I started first looking into sales, Michaela Harris. So I had bought one of her courses, and a lot of the language that she uses really resonated with me. She does things a little bit differently than I do, which is fine. Again, you have to take like the nuggets and apply it to your business. But, you know, selling into collections was the biggest takeaway that I got from her. Like, make collections to incentivize people to spend more and get a better, you know, product, client experience, all that sort of a thing. And then funny enough, my business partner, Dave Moss, now I run Business as an Adventure with him. I was his first charity case for business people. I was really struggling with, there's a whole commission culture here in Maui where it's pay to play, like 20% pay to play. And I was like, you're asking me to work 20% more to make my bottom line? No. And Dave was like, I feel for you. So I'm going to have you be one of my coaching clients, and we're going to work through it. And he helped me work through a lot of that stuff. And, of course, very grateful for him. So yeah, those are just some people like right off the top of my head, but gosh, those first like 5-6 years in the industry, I was like a sponge. I was absorbing everything. Yeah.
That's awesome. So we're gonna end on, before we get to rapid fires, what skills do you think are essential to be successful in this industry?
I think resilience is one of them. I mean, look at the pandemic. A lot of businesses didn't last. So you need to make a plan to be resilient, not just with, hey, if you feel like you need to shift because A and B aren't equaling C, then shift. Try it out. And if it doesn't work, that's okay. You can always go back. Pushing through when things are hard. I also think learning, like you have to be a lifelong student. And maybe it's just like I'm a former teacher saying things, but the moment that you stop learning, you're going to stop growing. And there is somebody nipping at your heels who is 10 years younger and has all the time and doesn't have kids and all the stuff. And they're ready to take your place if you're not willing to keep up with it. You know what I mean? Lifelong learner. And, oh my God, for the love of God, know your numbers, please. Please. I just saw somebody post our local photography group. It was like 15 minutes mini session for $35. I'm like, what are you doing? Stop. Your beach permit is $20. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You know, so please like run your numbers. And if you don't feel confident in doing that, invest in a business coach that can help you, or invest in, you know, like a tax person, a bookkeeper, please. It'll be the best money you've ever spent.
Awesome. Thank you. So we're going to jump into
Yes.
5 or 6 rapid fire questions. Some are related to the industry. Some are we just want to pick your brain, right?
Okay.
All right. So let's start with a softball question, right? Who was your first celebrity crush?
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. It was Will Smith. Will Smith, Fresh Prince of
Love
Bel
it.
Air, but now he's all slappy, so I don't know.
Yeah. Love it. What is the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice I've ever received. Money. You'll never have enough and you can always make more.
Awesome. Easiest upsell tactic.
Easiest upsell tactic is put it into a collection.
Okay. Perfect.
Collections.
Where's your happy place?
And my happy place is out in nature. I'm not necessarily a beach person, but actually I love them. I love the woods and I love like mountain rivers and that kind of stuff, which we have here, believe it or not.
Okay, 2 more. What is your mantra during a challenging shoot or session?
It'll be over soon. Actually, no, hold on. Let me back up really quick. Jeff Cook said this to me years ago. He said, they're going to love it. And that sounds so, I don't know, pointed and so simple, but it's true. We spend all day looking at other photos and comparing ourselves. The comparison is a thief of joy, right?
Yes.
Guess what? Our clients don't spend all day doing that. They spend all day looking at your work.
Yeah.
Even if it's not your best, they're going to love it.
Yes. I love that. I don't even want to follow up with anything else after that because that was amazing. They're going to love it. I mean, it's so true.
Yeah.
So I want to give you time. I want to give you space for you to let people know where they can find you, where they can follow you, how they can learn from you. The floor is yours.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Well, if you are into pretty Maui wedding photography, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm Angela Nelson Photo, all one word. And then if you would like to learn from Dave and I, we are just getting our Facebook group back up and running. We do have an online course teaching you how to run a profitable business. But even better, guys, we have like a white glove service where we install workflows right into your CRM. So all you have to do is go put like your variables in there, customize it a little bit for yourself, and it's done. So if you don't have a workflow, automated emails and reminders and all that stuff that will keep your clients up to speed with where they are in the process of having their family session, their wedding, their engagement session with you or whatever, we've done it for you. So you can go check that out at businessasanadventure.com.
I love it. Angie, thank you very much for just giving of your time and pouring of your knowledge and expertise. I feel like people who listen to this need to listen to it multiple times just to hear all of the gems that you're dropping, just from the psychology of sales to the psychology of self, and yes, just thank you for blessing. Thank you for blessing us.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me on and talking story with me and working through all of our technical issues before we hopped on. I really appreciate you.
No problem. So just stay on. I'm just going to wrap up. And for everyone who's listening, again, go follow Angie. Go to her website if you want to learn more from her. She has a whole education link on there where you can figure out how you can work with her. Because let me tell you, yes, she does phenomenal work, but she has an even more phenomenal brain. So definitely go ahead and pick at it. With that being said, this is yours truly, Michael, from Success by Design with Fundy, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.